Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning. In today's video presentation, we are going to discuss the application of 6 thinking hats. Next. Here are the name of our group members. My name is Nurul Amani binti Muhammad Nuzuruddin.
My name is Sharifah Iziana Atifa binti Said Mazir.
My name is Balkis Rehana binti Zainuddin.
My name is Nur Akilah binti Abdul Jalil.
My name is Nurul Anis binti Ismail.
So for our video presentation, we have divided it into 3 parts. Introduction, we'll be discussing the concept of 6 thinking hats and the kuliah of our choice. The second one, which is the application, also divided into 3 parts, which are academics, facilities, and bureaucracy. And we'll be finishing off with the conclusion. Okay, for the introductions, I'll be giving the introductions. Okay, the 6 thinking hats is actually a technique invented by Edward de Bono. It basically allows users to look at things or like the issues or solutions from a few different perspectives or different hats of different colors. So each color represents a different thinking style. So it allows everyone to kind of think parallel and wear one hat at a time. For instance, in a meeting, the instructor tells you to only wear the yellow hat. So everyone knows to only think of the benefits, the advantages, or just basically being optimistic of the ideas. The 6 thinking hats allows team meetings, problem solving, as well as decision making to be more effective. So these are the 6 different hats of different colors. The blue hat is used to control and organize the thinking process. The black hat is used to be cautious and careful and also to exude critical judgment and thinking of the worst case scenarios. The green hat is used to instill creativity and generating ideas and innovations. The red hat is used to focus on emotions and feelings, intuitions about a certain idea. The white hat is used for objectivity and looking at the facts and figures. And the yellow hat is used to look at the benefits, the optimistic side of things, and looking at the best case scenarios of the ideas. So for the kuliah, we have chosen to do our analysis on the kuliah of Economics and Management Sciences, or CAMS. Basically, CAMS was among the first 2 faculties that were established when IIUM first began its operations in 1983. And the kuliah now has 4 departments, which are the Department of Economics, Business Administration, Accounting, and Islamic Finance. We have chosen to do our application of 6 thinking hats on this kuliah because all 5 of us are from kuliah of Economics and Management Sciences, and we are the most familiar with the kuliah and its academics, facilities, and bureaucracy. Now I'm going to pass the floor to Nurul Anis.
For this application of 6 thinking hat, I will be wearing blue hat and red hat.
I'll be wearing white hat.
I will be wearing the green hat.
I will be wearing yellow hat.
And I'll be wearing black hat.
So let's see the first aspect of the kuliah, which is academic. The question is, should the kuliah focus on facilitating online-based learning and adopt a blended learning arrangement? So the first question, so how do we analyze the different perspective of academics and how do we manage the flow of thinking hat to solve the problem? Next. So we use 6 thinking hat to analyze the different perspective of academic in the kuliah of Economics and Management Science, and the flow will be first blue hat, second white hat, third green hat, fourth yellow hat, fifth red hat, and the last one is black hat. Lastly, we summarize and conclude the analysis of CAMS academic improvement made based on the hat above using blue hat. Next. So, white hat, I would like to ask the question, what are the facts about online learning and blended learning?
Okay, thank you, Anis. So I will be explain about the facts of online learning and blended learning. So the concept of online learning is education that takes place over the internet. It is also called as e-learning. And while the blended learning is a various combination of physical classes and online content. So the problem solving part, how to make students' online learning experience better. So we divide it into 2, which is the solicit questions and the emphasize group projects. For the solicit questions, the lecturers must restrict office hours for consultation and encourage students to come and bring their questions. And then the second one is organize a forum for students to discuss their problems. And then the next one is emphasize group projects. So the students should be practicing and create exercise that help them reflect on their own perspective and sharing ideas. Next. So this is the survey that we organize on CAMP students in choosing their way in learning mode. So basically there are three types of learning mode, which is face-to-face, online, and blended. So as we can see, 60% of students choose blended learning mode as their effective way to learn, while the percentage of students choose face-to-face is slightly different, which are 30% students. So only 10% of students choose online learning as their effective way in learning. According to UNESCO observation as of 10 April 2020, 91.3% of the world's student population has been hit by school closures in 188 countries. So in Malaysia, school closures have affected 8 million students nationwide. This is because of the pandemic COVID-19 that affect all of us. So the education institution have responded by holding online classes to ensure continuous learning, despite the improved internet access to rate to 90.1% in 2019 compared with 87% of 2018, there remains households which are underprivileged to get access to internet at home. So the computer usage in the rural areas appeared at only 54% compared with 77.3% for Malaysians who live in urban areas.
So, Green Hat, what are the new ideas that you come out to solve this academic issue?
We have come up with three ideas. The first one is smart desks. Basically, what we can do is that we modify the existing desks by including an attached touchscreen tablet to facilitate online-based learning even in class. This way, students may access online files that they have saved while in class without having to bring their own laptops to class. The desk will also incorporate a wireless charging pad installed within the desk, which allows students to charge their phones in class. So all they need to do is put their phone on the desk and the charging will happen via electromagnetic induction. So the second idea is that to have a cloud storage facility provided by the kuliah. Using the touchscreen tablet available at every desk, students can simply log into the student accounts like iTaklim during the class to update their notes and academic progress, which are stored on a remote database. This feature adapts the functionality of a cloud storage. So what this helps is that it eases a blended learning arrangement where students are able to use the same system or facilities for both learning modes, whether it be online classes or physical classes, because the materials can be accessed at any time, anywhere via the internet. So it will be more synchronized. So the third one is a bit novel, which is the VR education. VR or virtual reality, as you know, is the use of computer technology to create a simulated environment. So there are two suggestions here. The first one is that the physical presence of the lecturer in class can be substituted with a virtual reality projection in class. So instead of having the normal recorded lectures in the form of videos, lecturers can actually implement the use of virtual reality so students can feel as though the lecturer is in class. The second one is using virtual reality or adaptive virtual reality to enhance student engagement and to allow students to learn through experience in class. So for example, we could also have like a virtual field trip or a virtual industrial training. So everything can be done within the confines of the class, but students will still be able to explore and look at how things happen in the real world. So that's all from Green Hat.
So, next question, I would like to ask Yellow Hat. So, what are the benefits of this idea?
Thank you for the question, Blue Hat. So there are several benefits and advantages by apply the blended learning in our in camp kuliah. So basically, the first one, reduce risk of losing notes. It allows students to reach the learning materials such as notes anytime across the globe by saving the material in cloud storage account. So the student can access all the material by their own account anytime and anywhere. So the second one, and enable student to learn at their own pace. So speed up the learning process by providing more advanced resources if necessary. Because the student will apply blended learning, which are physically and also e-learning. And the third one, student will be more tech savvy. In 30 years time, people with high level of technology skill and knowledge are required to enter the workforce, as they easily adapt with upgraded work environment. That's all from
Okay.
me.
How do students feel about this idea? Some students will have a different feeling about this idea. Some students feel insecure when applying too much technology in learning. Some students will feel bored to study. However, the idea of modifying desk to smart desk is interesting for students. And the last one is that idea makes students feel joyful to study. Next. Okay. So the last question, what are disadvantages of this idea? Let's have.
Okay, there are several disadvantages and cautions for implementing the improvement as suggested in Green Hat, and I have highlighted four. The first one is adaptation issues. If the improvement are too sudden and too advanced, students and lecturers might face problem to adjust and utilize it effectively. The second one, it requires high cost of maintenance because high skills and knowledge are needed to understand the complicated system. Moreover, the spare parts used might be expensive too because it uses high technology. And the third one, due to the fact it requires high acquisition costs, it is because of the functionality and benefit offered by this technology. Therefore, the developer might want to charge a high price. And the last one, the desk will be used almost every day to assist education by various types of students. Therefore, the risk of damage is higher. Since there are thousands of students in camps, uh, it will be hard for the lecturers and staff to control them because different students have different behaviors, and that is why the risk of damage is high.
Okay, to summarize all the points that we discussed, first, students need to get used the technology because in the 30 years ahead, the technology is expected to be way more advanced and the system will be more complicated. Parents should play a role in ensuring that their child is not left behind by today's technology to avoid culture shock or adaptation issues in the future. Furthermore, the implementation of this technology might be costly for today's world because it is a very novel innovation. However, it is possible that the cost will be lower in the future if more research is done to find ways to reduce costs for the new technologies. So, based on all the analysis, innovation of smart desks, cloud storage, and VR education in academies of camp students for the next 30 years will bring the education system to a whole new level that is in line with the global development. So let's see the second aspect of Kuliah, which is facilities. Our question is, should the Kuliah invest in a smart cafeteria? So for the flow, we will use the same flow in all aspects of Kuliah. So Whitehead, what are the facts about smart cafeteria?
The concept of smart cafeteria is a prepaid point of sale, which is POS, technology that allows transactions with the absence of cash at the same time of purchase. As we know that the students go to cafeteria not only to have meals, but also to socialize, hold discussion, as well as to do the works between the class. So this is the statistic of percentage of students choosing their preferred payment method in camps. So as we can see, there are 75% of students who choose digital wallet as their payment method. However, the remaining 15% choose cash. So the percentage of students choose digital wallet exceed the percentage of students choose cash. Next. So this is the statistic of Malaysians. People use non-cash payment method in Malaysia. So we can see that there are 63% of Malaysian using non-cash payment method, while the lowest percentage are 8% by using mobile wallet. So the percentage of credit card and online banking are medium compared to debit card and mobile wallet. Next.
Okay. So next question, I would like to ask Green Hat. So what are the new suggestions to solve this problem?
Thank you, Blue Hat. We have actually come up with 4 new ideas or innovations on the smart cafeteria. The first one is cashless transactions. With the smart cafeteria, students can pay for their meals simply by scanning the QR codes provided by the vendors, and this substitutes the need for cash payment. This way, all transactions can be done digitally and according to exact amounts. So it means that different from cash transactions, there will be no need for the vendors to provide change. The second one is top up using the student's metric card. So for this idea, we've actually put the student's metric card to another use by combining it with a feature that allows students to top up their balance in the student metric card to be used to pay for their meals at the cafeteria. So they can just top up their card as you would touch and go or things like that and use it to pay for your meals. All right, next. The third one is order in advance. So using some sort of mobile application, the students can actually order and pay for their meals in advance without having to physically be at the cafeteria. So everything can be done remotely or via the internet. They can even order their meals while in class and specify the pickup time. So for instance, I am at class at 11 a.m. and I know I'll be having lunch at 1 p.m. But I don't want to go through the hassle of having to line up and pay for my food, yada yada yada. So what I can do is that I can just place my order online, pay, and then by the time that 1 p.m. is up, I can just go to the cafeteria and pick up my meal. And the third concept or idea is e-sedekah. So what we want to implement is the mechanism used for online payment should be combined with the e-sedekah feature. So what happens is that students can also pay for other students' meals by paying them forward. So basically, you pay more than what you want to get. Basically, let's say I want to get a 5 ringgit meal, but I pay 10 ringgit because the other 5 ringgit can be used by someone else. So students who are less fortunate, or even students who do not have sufficient balance in their accounts, can actually use that to get free meals. So basically, they go to the counter or the vendor and say that, are there any suspended or paid for meals today? And then if there are, they can just simply take the meals for free. And that's all that we have to say about new ideas and innovations.
Okay, so for the yellow hat, what are the benefits of this idea?
Thank you for the question, Blue Hat. So in yellow hat, there are some benefit and also advantages of by planning these camps cafeteria innovation. The first one, easier and faster to buy food. The mobile app enables students to physically pay for meat without line up, as mentioned in Green Hat, the procedure way of cashless. The second one, encourage students to give sedekah. The practice of giving free meats to randomly other students will create a feeling of calmness and also happiness in life. And the last one, cashless. Speed up the transaction, which improve transport during the busiest of time and ensure students do not have to wait for so long, and they can get their meal and go for their next class in time. So that's all from me about the benefit and also advantage of cafeteria innovation.
So for the next question, what students feel about this smart cafeteria? Some students and lecturers will feel more delighted in ordering and paying the foods. However, some students partially agree with this idea. For them, they prefer both payment methods. And the last one, the idea of smart cafeteria will overwhelm students and lecturers. That's all from Red Hat. Okay, so for the last question, Red Hat, what do students dislike about this smart cafeteria?
The first disadvantage that might arise is top-up issues. If the student does not have enough balance, he cannot pay for his food, and this will cause inconvenience to the students because they will need to find for the machines, or they have to do the transactions online before before doing the transactions. The second one is reliance on smartphone. The transaction should be done through smartphone, and if the battery has died, they cannot perform the transactions. Or in other cases, if the battery is almost died, the the transactions might be delayed because the battery might die in the middle of the transaction. And the third one is system down. It is probable that the system will crash if too many transactions are done at a time. If that happens, it will delay all the transactions within the system. And the people will need to use their cash in order to get to perform the transactions. And the last one is overspending. Since the transaction doesn't require physical money, people will tend to spend beyond their needs without realizing it because this will cause the reduction in the bank account, and they will need to, to check their bank account regularly in order to see the reduce of their money. If they are using the cash money, they will instantly see the reduce of their money in their wallet. So they will realize that they are using too much money if they are using cash.
So, as a conclusion, in the next 30 years, the implementation of smart cafeteria at camps will be very useful for students where it will solve students' problems. However, there are some students who may not accept this idea because there are some problems that will arise when the camp's authorities implement this idea. Furthermore, the camps need to expose students to the importance of smart cafeteria and how to use it properly. It can be seen that technology will take over all the things of human life but may not be able to solve all the problems. The last aspect of kuliah, which is bureaucracy. Our question is, should the kuliah create a mobile application, iCamps, specifically for camp students? Next. I would like to ask Whitehead, what do you know about mobile application?
Thank you, Anis. So the concept of mobile application is a type of application software designed to run on a mobile device, such as a smartphone or tablet computer. So this application, iCamps, is specifically for camp students to ease daily affairs. So this is the statistic that we got from our survey on camp students. So the statistics show that 80% out of 100% students choose yes for the new mobile applications, while only 20% students choose no. Next.
So the next question is, what are other alternatives to work this out? Whitehead.
Okay, we have identified four alternatives. Thank you, Blue Hat. The first one is live navigation. So the mobile application can be used to give students live directions to their respective venues within the kuliah by combining it with the function of Google Maps. So we can see this prevalent in like Waze, but then for this particular situation, we use it for walking. Hence, students can use this feature and live location to find their classes, especially during the first week of classes, where so they don't get lost. And the second feature or idea is using the use of chatbots. Chatbots can be used as a substitute to answer simple and common questions or frequently asked questions that may not require assistance from a clerk or staff in the administration. As chatbots, they work to simulate human conversations, whether it be through knowledge database or even predefined scripts. So 30 years from now, we can expect that artificial intelligence, which is an integral element of Industry 4.0, will be more prevalent and will surely be more readily available. So as we know, chatbot is actually an application of artificial intelligence. Okay, next. The third one is notification. So we want to also introduce the feature of notifications. To ensure that students remain alert and updated, notification feature can be introduced. Since this is a mobile application, students can turn on app notifications and be updated in real time without having to actively use the application. Examples of notifications include like deadline reminders, communication from other people, like from chats, or even important notices or news from the kuliah. So students can then tap the notification to open the app and respond appropriately. So as we know that different from websites, usually from for instance the existing iTaklim, you need to actively use iTaklim for you to be reminded of these deadlines. So the mobile application, you can actually have the real time updates. And the fourth one is social networking purposes. We can also modify the mobile app to add the social networking components like Instagram or Twitter. So camp students can use the mobile application to interact with each other, share experiences, and even find friends with similar interests. This feature may also allow them to join clubs and societies within the kuliah, host online discussions, and even provide an outlet for them to seek assistance. So some things that we can actually incorporate in the social media components include having e-tutor classes or even e-counseling where students can be assisted, especially with regard to their mental health online and through the application without having to physically meet the counselor. And that's all from Green Hat.
Okay, so next question, I would like to ask Yellow Hat. So what is the good about mobile application?
Thank you, Blue Hat. For the mobile application, there are benefit and advantage of using the application specifically for camp student. So the first one, convenient for the student because may provide quick and convenient access to student related requirement. It may also save a lot of effort having to stand in long queues for payment of fees. And then cost efficient, contribute our bit to the environment by reducing the use of paper instead of using manual registration, which is paper. We can replace it with online registration that provided in iCamps. And then easy dissemination of information. Student will be able to keep track of all the important information about the faculty issue and also the news. And then the last one, centralized. One of the main benefit is that your entire communication, content, staff, and student directory are available in one centralized system. Instead of using multiple platforms for different kinds of communication and interaction, you can use one solution for all your student for the student engagement needs. That's all from me about the benefits.
So the next question is, how will students feel about mobile application? Every student have their own feelings. So some students will be happy when they can use mobile application to socialize. Some of them will feel organized since everything can be done on the same application. However, some students will feel confused when they use mobile application for the whole things. And the last one is some students will feel sad because they miss human interaction. So next. So the last question I would like to ask Black Hat, what are the consequences of mobile application?
Okay, there are several cautions and disadvantages of using mobile application. The first one is the risk of getting hacked. Since it is an online application, there will be a risk of getting hacked. Getting hacked will cause the theft of private information, which is very dangerous because that stolen data might be used to commit the crimes. The mobile applications might include our personal information like full name and identification card numbers. And those information can be used by the cyber criminal to commit the frauds to others by using our private information. The consequences of having less physical interaction is that students will lack communication skills that is required in our daily life. They will not feel brave to ask others, like the strangers, for help, for example. And moreover, this will lead to the lack of emotional connection between the interacting parties. For example, as mentioned before, the counseling and complaints can be done through this application. So the staff will not really understand the emotions of the students because it is only done through online. So this will cause the staff and the lecturers to provide the less effective solutions for the issue. And the last one is high data consumption. The application requires internet connection to keep updating the information, so it will consume a lot of students' mobile data.
To summarize all the points that we discussed earlier, students will feel their daily life have gotten a lot easier since the app can keep them up to date, engaged, and assisted throughout their studies. Furthermore, better usage of college service since everything can be found in one place. In 30 years ahead, the improvement of bureaucracy in terms of mobile application is applicable because it brings more advantages than disadvantages. That's all from me.
Okay, for the conclusions, we can conclude that SIG thinking has generate ideas to solve problems that occur in Kuliah, Economics and Management Sciences. And then the second one is SIG thinking has can help people to focus in one time, create and evaluate and implement action plans. And then the last one is in 30 years from now, we shall see the technology getting more advanced. Thus, the application of SIG thinking has helped in exploring new ideas in improving our Kuliah of Economic and Science Management. So that's all from us. Thank you.